Hi everyone, Josh with Talk About Trek here, and we're here today to talk about another Star Trek TNG novel. That's right, we've got A Rock and a Hard Place, TNG novel number 10. And I was particularly excited to start this novel because this was one that I remembered from when I was a kid. Now, I didn't remember much about the story, maybe it was just the cover, but once I got into it, I kind of could see why it stuck in my mind. Because it is a very memorable and kind of a strange story. So, as usual, let's start with the front cover here. Commander Riker fights for survival on a desolate world, which was sure what drew me in when I was a kid. This is the second novel by Peter David, who of course went on to write many, many, many more Star Trek novels and some of the best Riker Troy stuff out there, of course. All right, so from the back. Under the best circumstances, terraforming is a tough, dangerous task that pits the hardiest of pioneers against an unforgiving environment. When the terraformers on the planet Paradise fall behind schedule, Commander Riker is given temporary leave from the Enterprise and sent to assist. Riker's replacement on the Enterprise is a volatile officer named Stone, whose behavior soon raises questions about his ability and his judgment. Meanwhile, Commander Riker has become enmeshed in a life-and-death struggle with Paradise's brutal landscape. However, he soon learns that not all of the planet's dangers are natural in origin, as he comes face-to-face with Paradise's greatest danger and most hideous secret. Which would be that guy right there. So, we'll talk about the book a little bit and not get into too much spoilery talk. And then at some point I'll just kind of go off ranting, and then that'll be all spoilers. But I'll warn you before then in case you want to read it yourself. First thoughts, he did a really good job of kind of juggling this A and B plot line. So you got the A plot line of Riker on the planet trying to help this terraforming mission, and then the B plot line, which features this entirely new character named Quentin Stone, who's just a real jerk, a real strange character, but he's a mystery, and I think that's what drew me into this. This book I started actually on the 8th and finished it just today. So in the course of a couple of afternoons, it really drew me in, and I think part of the appeal of this book was just I wanted to know more about why this Quentin Stone was the way he was. So he was transferred to the Enterprise as Riker's replacement, mainly because he was a hard person to deal with. So they were kind of giving him to Picard so that hopefully Picard could, help him out. So that was the idea there. And really, the B plotline all revolves around him and his interactions with various members of the crew, the little lies he tells about himself and things like that. But it all kind of comes together very interestingly in the end. And I think, so, like I said, that's what kind of drew me to keep reading this book and not want to put it down, is because I just wanted to know more about him. So back in the A plot, you've got Riker. He's going down to this planet. The planet is hostile, cold, and they're slowly attempting to terraform it, build an atmosphere. But things are going slower, so he's going to help, mainly because of his, background, because he's from Alaska. So that's kind of a stretch. But anyway, it gets him to the planet. There's nothing alive on the planet, but for whatever reason, the dumb scientists there decided they would genetically engineer a creature to live there, and as they described it, it was going to be like their pack animal. So maybe this is kind of the weakest part of the story, possibly, as to why they would even do this. And you see what they made. Like, why would anyone make this guy? So they made a bunch of these guys. And one of the silliest things about this, and that we have to keep going on and on, is that these creatures are called wild things. So throughout the whole book, we're constantly referencing the wild things, and the wild things are coming. You got to look out for the wild things, and the wild things are on the attack. So maybe they could have just gave them a name. Now I got to think about the Wild Thing song every time I reading about them. But so these wild things have been released accidentally onto this planet and have become a danger. So in the B mission, some of Riker's the people there, the terraformers there, have to go out, and it's actually one of his old friends, and of course he has to go out and he takes his family with him because they're all terraformers and that's what they do, and they have to go out and like repair some beacon, and they get lost, of course. And then all the other terraformers are like, well, they'll be back or we'll go look later. But then Riker, impulsive as ever, he jumps into a thing and he takes off after them. And then that's his story. He's got to go chase down, find his friend, see what happened, and rescue them. Because once it gets dark on this planet, there's really not much hope for them to come back. So you've got these two plot lines where on the Enterprise, you got Quentin Stone kind of trying to fit in and everyone's trying to figure out where he is. And then they do have kind of like a little side mission just to kind of gauge him out, which plays into like a nice little action sequence, which I won't go into too much here. But it shows some more of how this guy acts, how he runs an away mission, and it really plays out really cool. So that was one of the nice big first action sequences of the book is this away mission, his first big away mission that Quentin goes on. So wrapping it up here without getting into too many spoilers, I really enjoyed this book. You can see why Peter David went on to write so many more Star Trek novels, because I feel he knows the characters well, and he writes them very well. So I had a really good time with this. Like I said, it was a 2-day read for me. Was able to work through it pretty quickly, and just... Alright, we're going to go into spoilers now, so... if you don't want to be spoiled, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Otherwise, whoa, okay, so this guy, this Quentin Stone, the whole time, you're wondering, what is going on with him? Why is he acting like this? Why is he so insubordinate? The reveal at the end, I feel, was really, really, really well done. So, I will give it away here. And if you're already here, you've read this already. So, it turns out this guy is the way he is because in a away mission he was on years ago, he was sent there to kind of oversee a change in, like a ruling party. And maybe a different class was coming up and taking over and going to be ruling this planet. But the planet currently had like a ruling class and a big family. So Starfleet was there just to kind of oversee and watch. But they could do nothing, of course. They could not interfere, the Prime Directive and all that. So here this Quentin Stone had to stand there and watch while this new group of people executed the old group of people via whipping. And I got ahead of myself. So at the end of the book, of course, Stone and Riker's stories intertwine. And Riker rescues Stone, Stone rescues Riker, but in the middle of Stone rescuing Riker, that's when he decides to lay out his backstory for us. So that's when we learn that he had to watch these, basically this whole family of ruling people get whipped to death by these new rulers and just kind of stand there and do nothing. And then when it was all said and done, the new family was so, I guess, they liked him so much that he just stood there and watched it. They actually gave him the whip as like a gift. And it basically broke the man inside. So by the end of the book, he's decided that he's actually going to stay on the terraforming planet, and hopefully, he can find some relief for himself there. But what an interesting character. Very interesting. In doing a little bit of research on Memory Beta, it looks like he does actually show up in a New Frontier short story collection. So maybe there's a little bit more to learn about that character down the road. So, wow, here we are already approaching 10 minutes, guys. Listen, thank you so much for watching my video, and I would recommend this book to any fan of Star Trek. Excellent Riker book, excellent fun new character, fun little mystery, and just a great read overall. So everybody, again, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Live long and prosper. Bye.